So now it's just the three amigos.
Two amigos.
Who...
You and the wolf.
Now elaborate on that.
Yeah, I think we all know who the amigos are. Continue.
I don't...
Sorry, I'm the wolf.
I'm not sure if I'm in the club.
One of them is the wolf, I'll give you that. One of the
Yeah.
two is the wolf.
Yes, agreed.
Oh my god. So, Falx takes the lead and guides you through the frigid wastes. He's all bundled up, and he guides you. This is just sort of like a compilation of several days. Like, days do just pass before us. He leads you one direction 1 minute and then hard pivots the next. And with the sureness of how he's traveling, you can imagine that there's, like, perilous falls just meters ahead of where you were walking that you might have otherwise continued straight. And so you... What the... Oh, I put you over there. Overall, though, your arc is to go northwest.
Yep.
And he seems certain in his path. You know, your nights are spent hiding out in caves, all of which he seems very familiar with and just guides you to with almost no effort. And though it is slow, you really feel the meaning of slow but steady as you can track your progress through the north. And I think that's enough time that Canera, you arrive back at the Verge.
Great.
All right, now head back out.
I sneeze.
End of story.
Canara asks where she's staying, and they're like, "Oh, we're actually full." So,
I thought I hadn't really considered it.
oh, you want to stay here?
So you get there, and I didn't really make any scenes of it, but you presumably had to kill a few Ice Torn on the way. The kind of way where they encounter walkers out in the wild and they just sort of shoot them with a crossbow.
Yeah.
It's like that. It's like, there's one of those fuckers.
I shot him with my crossbow.
Yes.
I have one, no.
Character growth.
Yeah.
But eventually you reach the side, and you are seen in advance by the Watchers. There's always someone available, and Kasner steps up and hails them with a shout. You know, just a big bellowing, "Hey, it's us!" And that door that looks like it seals flush with the rest of the Verge, when it's not open, cracks open and some steam comes out and eventually collapses into the snow to allow you guys entry. Walter hurries in, although not ahead of the injured Kasner. He just really ushers everyone. He makes it a quick thing and says, "Fucking finally, get some goddamn coffee."
Coffee doesn't exist.
I'll do this, Declan.
Does. Jonas says, "Yes, and I hope you are able to return home soon. I quite miss my girls after that experience." And Rosa, souring the room, says, "Yes, and we must tell Rolf." And there's another quiet at that as the door starts to seal up behind you guys, and you're taken in by the warmth of the hearth again.
How does one usually go about contacting the Archbishop? Send her like an SMS text message.
Make a wish in your heart.
Okay. I'm assuming I need
Yes,
to
Canara?
write her a missive.
Letters work fine, and you can easily stamp a letter with your own seal so that it's reviewed as to whether that's actually something anyone's going to pass along.
Yeah. As the doors close, Canara will say, I need to send a missive at once.
Asdel, who is there to meet you, says, "Of course, Saint. I can take you right to our station. You have less people than before."
And I'll say, that is correct.
She'll wait, and then
It's that awkward silence where Canara, having said everything she wanted to, just has her arms folded.
well, indeed. Right this way, Saint. Kasner, we'll get you to the med bay, and the rest of you as well. And you guys begin to go your separate ways for the moment.
Okay. Canara will, I guess before she completely departs from Kasner, she'll say, where can I find you?
In spite of everything, still serving here, I suppose, but more immediately, the medbay.
Say, we need to speak before I depart.
It's more than I've ever personally talked to a saint. I heard you weren't one for it.
Says, I am not. However, I'm afraid I'm going to have to go back north.
He seems to go cold at that, and he, for once, resolves to leave that bad news for later. He's just gonna turn and say, a little shakily, "You know where to find me."
She'll kind of stop him, I guess.
Ah, my wounds!
She'll put her fingers directly into the hole. She'll stop him and she'll say, I do not intend to put yours in danger. She says, I understand this is troubling news, but I assure you it is of the utmost import. She says, for now, rest.
He'll nod firmly and then go back on his way with his merry little band who are all going to get their boo-boos seen to.
Canara will follow whoever this schmuck is to go send her missive.
It's a captain of the Western Verge.
I don't care about him.
Rude.
She takes you up to an upper part of the holdout. Hold on, we gotta delete some of these schmucks. Everyone who's not here, raise your hand.
Just me.
Up to a nice lantern-lit, sunlit part of the upper tier of these buildings. And she opens some stationery for you.
Briefly, for my awareness, the Archbishop knows I was tasked by Judicature, right?
Yeah.
Okay, I figured.
She kind of gave it to you. Well, actually, I guess you
right.
received summons, but she would have received word.
So Canara will start her missive. I guess I'll just sort of speak out what I intended to say. And I guess it'll start off outlining Archbishop. The prefect's mission has been long and arduous, and I would not even call us close to completion. And though I have tolerated the diversions and detours, due to their admittedly limited mental capacity for logic, I can no longer accept these terms given the forgiven that they are willing to sacrifice. She'll say, I guess she'll explain where she currently is stationed, like that information will be in there. And she'll go on to continue drinking from her dog bowl before she keeps writing. I need your favor to pursue. Is it her granddaughter?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The revered granddaughter.
Say, to pursue your revered granddaughter in any kind of timely fashion, I will face scrutiny from judicature. I'm ready to pass into Plummet, or I will be, once I depart from the north. But I am afraid if I see this mission to completion, your granddaughter's fate will not be assured. And she will sign it, Canara White, Saint Storms, with the official Saint seal. And she'll hand it to the woman.
Asdel takes it and says, I'll put this right on the priority line. I've got one that goes all the way down the wall. No need to be at the whims of the carrier pigeons. And if it's going straight to the Grand Cathedral, it should take no time at all.
She'll say, it will be wildly appreciated.
She'll just tip the note up and nod. And start heading out of the room.
Canara will, she'll sit there in silence for a little bit. And not really knowing what else to do with herself, she'll get back up and head out to go speak with Kasner.
As you do so, you make your way. You take the fastest route, which is along the top of the wall.
It's a slide.
Whee! The static electricity is a bitch, though. Especially off of you.
Canara comes out and her hair is just... She's like a hedgehog.
But as you do, you can kind of see there's a group of soldiers bundled around one, like, focused area, aiming their crossbows down and shouting.
Let's see what I see with my special eye. Or here, I guess. That's also a thing that notice is used for. Not great.
Not here.
Well,
seems like you only care to let soldiers do their job. I would say
I can't make out anything discernible.
I'm trying to justify your failure, because you could just look over and see it.
Sure.
But with a -2, I mean, I would say that's like you just kind of ignore it, like changes your behavior. You just see them doing it and go on your merry way.
Assuming it's some sort of zombie or wolf, she will continue on her way toward the med ward.
Ostrich, as you ask for entry into the Verge, a bunch of soldiers point their crossbows down at you and shout at you, shouting obscenities and slurs.
Alright.
What do you do to try to gain entry? You're holding a forgiven body, which is probably particularly one of their upset points.
He'll set the body down, and he'll very slowly raise his hands up and kind of open as a sign of he's not really.
Okay. They're gonna take that, and it's just going to be like cartoonishly quick. The gate will fall, and a bunch of them will rush out and like try to apprehend you to pull you away from the. They try to get you and the body and try to rush you guys back inside.
Yeah, I won't do anything.
Okay. Ostrich will willingly kind of get cuffed for the moment, shackled, and led back inside as though a criminal. But we'll follow Canara for the moment, since she missed this. You catch up a while later with Kasner, a couple hours later with Kasner.
Mm-hmm.
He's resting and reading a book.
She'll move into the presumably doorway of the. I don't know if he's staying in an individual room or is it just kind of a big infirmary room.
It's probably got like half discretion. There's like curtains.
What kind of people are in there now? Do I need to notice for that?
I mean, around you are the doctor, soldier, the medic staff, and in other curtains down the room, there'll be the other members of your expedition team.
Okay. She'll walk in with that familiar way she do, heavy footfall in her boots, and she'll say, "How do you fare?"
Better than I should have.
I am glad to hear it. And what of your party?
Yeah, they're better off than I am. Except for Miss Weiss.
Canara will nod, and she'll say, "They are from the Eastern Verge, where they will return, correct?"
Yes.
She'll say, "What kind of men and soldiers do you have here, stationed here?"
Has to be about the same that you had out east, just their flavor of opposition is ice-torn.
She'll say, "I need your ear. A moment of discretion." She'll kind of look around at the other doctors and people in the room.
He'll fold his hands over his book.
It is part of why I need to venture back into the north.
A crazy idea now is when you said it back then.
She'll say, "I understand." Say, "But under our terms, with our people, it should be much easier." She'll say, "It is important. It is for the Archbishop."
He just sits on that and he says, "What is it you need?"
She'll kind of sit down. Presumably, there is another chair at the foot of wherever he's resting, and she'll lean forward in this way that is always very inherently a little bit imposing. And she'll say, "Gosh, what's the spire's name out here?"
Snowden.
Snowden. There we go. She'll say, "I need to make it to the Snowden spire."
Oh, right. The Forbidden Quest.
She'll say, "I was tasked by Judicature to assist Prefect Motes with a very delicate assignment. And it became immediately apparent that to uphold Exosa's law meant compromise of his law and moral in which only he can be the final judge. But if I do not make it there at all," she'll say, "to help the bishop, I have to get to the spire before they do."
Before the prefect.
Yes.
And This is for the Archbishop, the revered
She
granddaughter.
nods. She is trapped. And I need... She sort of hesitates. She says, there is something I need there to free her.
I see. He sits on that for a while. Well. Well, then I suppose it's only fair. I get you where I promised.
She'll say, I've already been implicated, and I don't wish to put any of our numbers at risk. She'll say, I ask that we ask no further question, and that your consciences may remain clear where I will be judged. You will only need get me to the gate.
I won't take anyone else. You're the Saint of Storms, and I am your responsibility. I won't get taken off guard again.
She'll look him over. Is he in any condition to travel?
Yeah, it looks like it'd be rough, but he could hack it. Seems like he's got the grit, too. He wasn't the most mortally wounded. He was close.
She'll say, I ask that we call your best, and as many numbers as we can summon, to forge a direct path to the spire. At which point, you may all return.
I'll see what I can procure. I imagine the reason they only sent you with 4 was difficulty of resources to spare. It's not that different out here, but I should at least have some sway.
If you need any assistance in that department, I would be happy to lend my voice. She says, people tend to listen to what I have to say.
Downstairs, in a colder, more dirty brig, Ostrich is being kept, where for a couple hours now he's been grilled by forgiven soldiers asking him about the body.
Yeah, he'd probably just have been saying the same thing about how he was just returning her.
This forgiven will pace back and forth and say, yeah, see, that's a likely story, but I don't fucking buy it. You see, your kind has been seen around the Verge, these parts in particular. He's carrying a really hot iron and a fire burns close behind him, which gives you a bit of hesitation, given any bloodsucker really is not the most keen on fire. He's got you sat close to it, although your armor provides a measure of comfort toward it. But you are chained down to the chair very securely. A little overly securely. They really went all out. And he tips the hot end of the rod at you. So, actually catching one of you in the act, I have to say, I don't really believe that you just found her out there. I think a bloodsucker always has something to do with it.
He will... At that, he'll actually inquire. You've seen others of my kind here?
Not with mine own eyes, but my men have told me. They're in the township. And, as you might have heard, well, as you would know, people are disappearing from the township.
I'm not aware of, fortunately. But regardless of that, I still stick to what I said.
He is going to jab the rod through certain parts of your armor. They've really kind of winched open, just like, you know, not like they cut it open, but holes in it. They kind of tried to get you out of it for a second, but discovered it was really complex, and at one point frustratedly just sat you down and resolved to like expose, you know, a hole in the armpit or like your neck, and he sticks it down your coif or whatever and into your neck and burns you for 3 stress. It sears and produces a smell kind of worse than burning flesh off of your particular skin. And he withdraws it and continues pacing back and forth and says, "Now, the township's been one thing, but I don't even know that girl. What were you doing out past the wall? Does your operation proceed out there?"
We were being escorted. I don't have time for this.
He leans in and says, "Why? You need to report back to your count? Or whatever the fuck?"
He'll just stare at him for a moment, and he'll say, "Canal White, is she here?"
He's kind of taken aback and looks at the other cronies who are just sort of watching over this, and then back at you and says, "I don't know how well informed you think you are, but just naming off people isn't going to get you anywhere."
He'll say, "We were being escorted north, and she was part of the retinue. I wish to speak with her."
He gets up on you and just starts like hitting your armor with the rod, whether hot end or not, for a stress. And he says, "You're talking to me!"
Oh, big man.
At some point,
He's got some issues at home.
someone in the back surreptitiously slips out and up the stairs. Up the stairs, Canera, a good while after your chat with Kasner, a soldier approaches you and says, "Saint,
Just say, what is it?
there's someone here asking for you. I don't know if I'm supposed to tell you this."
Just say, out with it. Who is it?
"Well, we got a scourge in the basement. He brought a body here, so we arrested him immediately."
She'll kind of tilt her eyes up inquisitively. She'll say, is it wearing an entire suit of armor?
Yeah. We don't know how to get it off.
Say, I don't know why you would want to. Say,
Well, we're grilling them for answers because he murdered the girl. So, Cap's down there torturing him.
She'll stand. She'll say, I would like to speak to him.
Oh, wow, okay. I was just checking to make sure, but yeah. And he'll quickly boy jog back down the stairs and like look over his shoulder for you.
Is
You
this
doing
good?
this right?
Am I impressing? She'll follow as they step down the steppy stairs.
He leads you all the way down as this guy After long enough, all of Ostrich's stress boxes are filled as he like just keeps prodding him. And you come into the smell of somehow like rotting flesh that burns. Just an odd combination of scents.
Canaro will wrinkle her nose as she maneuvers in through the entryway, and she will look down upon Ostrich. Just say she'll look over at the addled soldier, smacking him with a hot poker, and she'll say, "Stand down."
He bolts upright and turns to you and is kind of in awe, and then he looks very meanly to the guy behind you and he says, "Murray!" What? I thought she ought to know.
I'm gonna try to take the poker from his hand.
Okay.
Do I have to roll for that?
You do whatever you want.
Okay. Wow, that's
Oh,
a
wow.
terrible roll, Canara.
Uh-oh.
He loves it.
Well, I did as bad, so you can probably get it out of his hand and throw it away at least.
She'll take it out of his hand and she won't hit him with it, but she'll give him one of those kind of like a tap across the chest the way like a teacher would with a ruler. And then she'll toss it over to the side. She'll say, "If my name is mentioned in my presence, I would like to be alerted. Is that clear?"
He just has to swallow his words and nod at you and look at the floor.
She'll say, "Regardless of the source that it comes from, I can be the final judge of that."
He's quiet. Everyone is. They're just sort of deferring.
She'll turn her head back to look at Ostrich, and then she'll look at the other two, and she'll say, "You are excused."
The group of them will all start hustling up the stairs.
She'll, once they're departed and they have the room to themselves, she'll say, "What are you doing here?"
Ostrich will be in a pretty bad way by now, at least. He'll kind of be...
I like to imagine you're smoking.
Yeah. He'll breathe heavily and go, "Well, I have to hand it to you Northerners. After a while, I felt something." And he'll regard her, and he'll just lower his voice. "I brought it back."
Say, "The girl?"
He'll nod.
Question mark.
They both just nod at each other like the Kermit and Christian Bale gif.
She says, "Where did you find her body?"
"I assume I found her right where she fell."
"Why did she run?"
That I couldn't
She'll
tell
follow
you.
up. Okay, she'll say, like, "Could you determine that in the body?" And then you can...
Yeah. You just say, "That I could not say."
Canaro will kind of like sit eye level with him. She'll say, "Why did you do this?"
He'll sort of gesture a little bit to his chains that are around him at first. And then he would, I guess he'd look up for a moment and then look back at her. "A knight is to uphold the values of his leader. Often, I'm a tool to exact a will. But in that way, I am also an extension of it. My inaction was disgraceful to such principles, and her lost life was not marked
All right, Canary. Wow. Hey,
Damn.
just trying to understand how sincere he is.
He's
through his-
lying.
Oh,
Yep.
through his smoking chassis.
Yeah, he's very sincere. And for that role, I'll give you that he'll go on and say, for too long nights in our land, and into nothing more than beasts, like those they said they were to slay long ago, in acts of forgotten chivalry. My lady hopes to overturn such ideals, and I should be an example of that.
She'll, very quietly, with her intense gaze, look you over and, she will, move to undo the binds that he's got on him, the cuffs.
It takes a bit of doing. They weren't too gracious in how they did it. They just, it's kind of like double knotting. They just needed to make sure that he was locked down, and they didn't really care about the after. For all you know, he would have been dumped in a smelting pit, and it all would have become one.
As she's doing this, she'll say, you left them there.
This was more important.
She'll kind of start laughing. Almost this kind of really kind of upsetting, like, belly laugh. And she'll say,
You never heard her laugh, so it's aw.
You've never. It's she seems absolutely delighted. And she says, that ought to really slow them down.
Oh my god.
You won't say anything on that.
I believe in chivalry. Ha 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 ha.
She'll say, they deserve a bit of humbling. They ought to realize how important the company they keep tends to be. She'll yank free the last of the bindings on him, and she'll let him stand up.
He'll stand and do that thing that everyone does when they get uncuffed, where they start rubbing.
Yeah, you gotta start rubbing your metal wrists.
Yeah, rubbing in his gauntlet, and he'll look around, sort of dusting some of the soot off his armor that formed, and he'll say, I did intend to return to them, but I admit I heard something that was quite interesting in my interrogation.
Kanara will tip her head, peaked with interest, and she'll say, and what was that?
The torturer, the one who you disarmed so swiftly, mentioned something about other southerners up here on the verge. Something which has not reached my ear.
She'll say, we heard about people disappearing, right? We did when we first got in.
Briefly. I think you heard about
Say,
rumors. I think someone rolled contacts, maybe.
We didn't know it was southerners.
No,
Definitely
no.
not.
We didn't know it was the Southerners. She'll say, what did they report?
Oh, he didn't say much else, but I admit I would like to take a look into this subject.
Kanara will say, it may be, says, without a bit of discretion. Though I could give you my blessing, you're still going to face a bit of prejudice from within the forgiven ranks.
I understand. I'm not in a place where I'm particularly welcome.
She'll say, still, I can give you my blessing. Says it will go a long way in getting you places. Say, it is something that I should have done in the tent before.
It would be much obliged. Though, I admit, I wonder, is there a way that you could get this in writing in which that I could present to someone should they question?
Yes, I will get you a missive. A signed missive with my seal.
He'll tip his head at that.
She'll say, as for the prefect and his mage, are they still headed to go see the beast?
I believe that was their intent, last I heard. Though, with my absence, I'm not sure if the plan has changed.
She'll consider, and she'll say, very well. She'll say, I will tend to you before you leave. She'll say, let me prepare that missive for you. She'll, start to move, and she'll say, you may follow me.
As you begin to turn, you feel the hairs on the back of your neck stand all the way up.
Don't like that. Oh, man. Sean was a
Wasn't
hangman
there
the whole
pain?
time.
And
Now, help me with these chains.
I was actually being tortured. It was a sticky spot.
I didn't know what pain was until today.
And you hear, child.
Ugh. Kara's like, Mom, how'd you get here so fast? Did you fly?
It's been hours.
Kinara will kind of startle and does one typically kneel for the Archbishop?
Probably.
You just scream as loud as you can. For salute. And she screams louder to assert dominance.
In a lovely rare sight, now only Ostra gets to see. Kinara immediately defers to someone and bends a knee, takes a bake.
Bakes the knee.
Bakes a cake.
Ostrich, even though your allegiance doesn't fall this way, it's just, no matter what your perception is, she stands mightily in the door, and you can just feel power emanating from her, like waves of gravity. And she regards you much with that same stony expression. She meets eyes with your person briefly, and you can't help but feel she regards you as though an insect before looking down on Kinara, and she sweeps into the room, taking this invisible sea of energy that is much larger than the space it's confined in with her. And she places a hand upon her shoulder and says, "Rise, child."
Kinara won't. She's in a defiant phase. She's like, no, I won't do it.
She grabs you under the armpits like, "Get up!"
Kinara will stand.
Get in the fucking store. Get off! No!
No!
Kinara will rise, and she'll say, this is hardly the place for the Archbishop.
It is along my domain. However, what you wrote me, it could not simply be answered in letter. I needed to attend this myself, especially if your requirement is to journey northward.
Kinara will nod, and she'll say, I have requested a party.
No.
Oh.
She says, please enlighten me.
You shall be. Follow me. And she will step heavily back up the stairs. It is implicit that you follow.
Kinara turns to Ostrich, me? Oh, me? She wants me to follow her?
You do that stupid voice. You think she means me?
I'm gonna go give her a piece of my mind. Believe me.
I just sit back in the chair and open the newspaper and cross my
You
legs.
chain yourself back up and open the newspaper.
Yeah. Ostrich takes the iron and slides it back down his pauldron.
Kinera will implicitly start following, but she'll turn briefly just to regard Ostrich and give him kind of a flat hand, like a stay put for now hand.
He shakes it.
No.
Good, nice to meet you.
Ostrich will just pretty much be standing in the most basic pose that you learn to draw. Standing there.
The one that you feel
Hands on the
awkward
sides.
drawing once you actually learn, you're like, God, no one just stands there.
No one just stands
Put their
like
hands
that.
on their hips.
It is
And she leads you back up, and you can tell her that you're going outside back into the sunlight. And we'll see how much of that situation I forget when we get back to it. But for now, let's check out the north with
I'm scared my mom's gonna beat me up.
Three Amigo. Yeah, we're
Oh,
gonna cut back to you, and it's just
Sometimes a family is just one mom who doesn't love you, your dead parents, and another very powerful mom who wants to beat you up.
That old
For
chestnut.
instance, that's yours. That's your family.
It's my family.
hey, that's you. So actually, it was left a little, I think for me, a little up in the air. Where did you actually want Falx to take you? Are we set on the Behemoth still,
Oh,
or the Spire?
here we go. All right.
I think they have different ideas
I
of
think
where
you-
they want to
We
go.
might be
Yeah,
walking this
yes.
conversation back a bit in time, because when I join us, we're going to be arriving at wherever it is, but I need to know.
Interesting.
All right, Prefect, where are we going?
Well, I was heading towards the Behemoth.
Oh, were you? Okay.
I
Interesting.
was. That was my idea.
Great.
So
Okay.
I would have made that explicit
Okay.
throughout our trip. It was a few days. So are you going to try to
Absolutely.
otherwise?
Absolutely. Yep. Oh, I certainly am. All right. So, I guess at some point, folks would probably have to address us to ask where we're going. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think it'd be at the start, frankly. I think you would just be asking at the outset.
You guys just started walking,
Uh,
just like Ice Age.
So yeah, it's closer to the beginning, he says. I understand you are having a discussion, Prefect. Where is it you would bid me?
And he's going to start speaking if you want to cut him off.
No, go ahead. Say what you want to say.
I don't like this.
About to interrupt you with a munch squad.
Yeah.
Did it.
Did it. He'll consider it and say, the Behemoth. We need to be sure that Edra isn't following it. We can learn what we can from her as we head further north. Rule it out entirely.
He nods.
Arya. Well, she'll say, Motes, what about what we talked about before?
It's was worth considering, and I consider.
And I said no.
I'm still waiting for them to come back with breakfast, so.
When Ostrich gets here,
When
we
Ostrich
will,
gets it.
she'll say, and how did that go, considering it?
I thought that it was foolish to throw away the one chance to find Edra to corner, if need be. She will have to journey south, and this still seems like the most likely path for her.
She says, at some point we are going to, okay, here's what she's going to say.
I'm listening.
Close as we are to the Spire, don't you think that we could activate it again and get a better idea of where Edra is before we go on a wild goose chase into the frozen tundra? We can't confirm that she's still here. She says,
We are confirming it. How can I be more clear?
When
she's
Motes
saying-
speaks up like that, there's the sound of a drawing blade, and Falk stands next to the Prefect.
There we go.
Prefect, do you need your will enforced?
No. I can do so myself. Thank you, folks. We're having a discussion.
Mommy and Daddy are just having a little conversation.
Often Discussions in my tribe do not grow this heated without it coming to claws. My apologies. He'll sheathe the blade.
This is going to happen more than once. Just kind of keeps his eyes on Arya during this.
I will be your protector, Prefect. Secondarily, your ward.
So, I don't know. If you want to mechanically roll provoke against my will, I'm cool with that. Otherwise, I don't know. I'm not convinced, really.
All right.
He knows what he wants to do. He wants to rule this out.
Moses is
Even
a
though
stubborn man.
arguably walking into a fucking situation
Yeah.
he doesn't understand, which could be
Ar-
used against him.
Arya's going. She's going to grab Moats by the wrist, and she's going to say,
There's going to be a slight snarl.
she'll knowing that she might be bitten in the fucking collarbone by this thing. She's going to grab Moats by the wrist, and she's going to say, "You are about to risk your opportunity to gain the strength that the Empire. Okay, hold on. To gain the strength that will force the Empire to recognize you." She says, "I won't see you throw that away." And let's
very
give
good.
this a shot.
Erasmus!
Erasmus, listen to the girl.
He's
Moses
like,
like-
I won't.
I've never been touched by a woman before.
Moses
Most
is
don't
like-
know this nonsense.
I'm so glad that worked out that
Arya,
way. Oh,
you wait. What is going on with your? And then picks at like her jaw, which it's like wobbly, and then starts to peel off the mask. What the? Oh my god! Now, grandson, this
Hello.
doesn't change anything.
I always like to keep it in the family.
No.
Fuck me.
What does that mean?
I knew you were awake. You knew it wasn't the mage. Where do we go from here?
Put the mask back on, and he just starts walking.
Falx is like, another prefect. Now I do not know whose allegiance I have.
You'll obey the prefect of obedience. Now, Moat, sit down.
That's a good point.
Yes, Daddy.
God.
Daddy.
That's a -3. Or -2. Okay. Yeah, you get to him. Considering things and looking back. His ward, as he's now called.
She'll say, between Falx and I, we can find the necessary materials to make the lodestone. He can traverse these lands faster than anybody else, and I can figure out the puzzle. She'll say, between the three of us, we can gain entry. We will catch Burn. That is an inevitability. You will see to it that happens. You have my magic, and you have his survivalist instincts.
And we would have the power of the spire.
And we would have the power of the spire.
Two of us.
The power of this fire.
No. This isn't a thing. This isn't like a prayer or something.
And also with you.
I would also like the power of the spire.
Now that we're talking about the spire power, I feel like I could get some of that too.
Daddy needs some juice. I'll nod, considering this, and say,
He'll consider it and say, to the behemoth.
"Come on!"
I considered it.
Yeah, I considered it. Cooler heads will prevail. We'll go for the spire instead.
Arya will let out a huge sigh of relief.
Right after we see. Oh. Business cash.
The first page you learn how to draw.
He stands there like that. God, I didn't realize Ostric's full outfit.
Yeah,
You really should have had both of the feet pointing in different directions.
I
like
really
that.
should. I already have the one leg is bent, but they're the same length.
Yeah.
In fact, it's longer.
This is
No
cubism.
one has the foot facing forward because that's too complicated.
Yeah, I feel like the foreshortening on the foot is too advanced for what I was going for. I feel like it's still the wrong foot, so that counts for something. But definitely, maybe not that angle.
This is a great paper doll. It looks great.
This is good.
Dave, I gotta say,
Charles
this
uses-
is your worst one yet. Can't believe you peaked at Clancer.
There he is.
Falx nods and just accepts this as gospel, and so pulls his hood over and immediately starts leading you. Then several days pass. He really doesn't ask you any further questions. He is just sort of silently about his task. So unless you guys make conversation in the meanwhile, he's like a machine. He's like Ostrich. It's like having Ostrich here.
Yeah, okay. I can't think of anything.
Yeah, I don't know if I have any small talk prepared.
Not a
Probably
problem.
relevant,
I'm
so
fine
keep
to I'm fine to
going.
get us there.
Yeah, let's get there, please.
At one point, you're starting to draw near, and even through the storms, you can see it on the horizon, although the fog's been getting a little cloudier throughout the day. Falx kind of comes to a pause and says, we should be coming upon the spire within hours here. Prefect, would you rather make camp again?
What would you suggest?
He turns back and says, I had taken us out because I expected us able to make it. However, he is like squinting and holding his hand up. My instincts have never guided me wrong, but this storm is out of nowhere. It's quickly building, faster than I am used to.
What's the storm called to the north? There's the wandering storm they keep referring to.
Storm of the North.
Isn't there some type of migrant storm that they keep referring to?
I don't think so.
Are you thinking of the grave storm that's just in the one
Okay.
place plummet?
No, yeah, there's that one, but I could have sworn I remember something. Okay, never
They
mind.
keep
Maybe
bringing it up. They keep looking out and like talking about storms, but no, I haven't named it or anything. There's not a mythical one.
Okay, got you. In that case, he'll just kind of nod and say, well, this must be new ground for you, forbidden as it is. If we must take the time to camp and make out in the morning, then yes, take the time.
Make out with Arya in the morning.
Make out
Yeah.
is for the night time. Booting about you.
She'll hear you.
I want her to. Who do you think I'm gonna make out with?
It's really upsetting.
Prefect, I may be your guard, but I know a good ass when I see one. Slaps Arya firm on the backside. She like shit falls off of her necklace, like comes off. He hits her so hard.
Just, like full on like 2-hand plants into the snow.
Yeah, she like falls forward.
That's 5.
Yeah, roll a defense.
Yes. No stun.
As he starts to guide you and turn in place, though, everyone do roll physique.
I'll
No.
do it.
Okay.
Yeah, Canara's gonna roll. She's gonna take the damage for me.
Cut back to me getting punched in the face by the Archbishop.
Alright.
Ooh.
Yeah, you two are blown about the same amount. You guys he starts turning in place, and you follow his lead, which very annoyingly is into the wind. Don't you just fucking hate turning into the wind in winter?
Yeah,
it's like
the
that.
worst.
And you guys immediately like hit the ground and can almost feel yourselves starting to be pulled in that direction, like the wind. There's this gif of a dude like jumping into the wind, and it's so bad in New York that it's like taking him away. It's
Yeah,
like
I've
he's in a
seen that.
space room. It's like that, and Falx, holding fast, grabs the both of you, and it's starting to get harder to hear. He says, "I don't know what's happening."
We need a place to hide anywhere.
I know a cave, but I can't. He starts trying to drag you and like can't seem to make traction in the snow.
Ooh.
Okay.
Oh wait, what is this? Oh, this is a song. What is this doing down in fucking the sound effects category? I was just trying to bring up another. Well, it's good music. I really thought that was just a sound effect.
Okay.
So, although eventually you hear him hit a knee in the snow, and when you look around again, roll notices.
Okay.
Well, Arya, roll.
The other 2 people.
Snake eyes.
That's about right.
All you can see is that visibility has been reduced to like 3 feet. It's almost like you're at the center of a cyclone.
Look at my world.
I'm blind. I'm blind.
I wish you bet you wish you had the Saint of Storms around.
No, I wish that.
To also get blown around because I am good at electricity, not snow.
Starting to lose his own place. Falx lets go of Arya and wraps himself around Moats to keep them still.
Oh dear God.
Okay.
Arya, roll another physique to like grab onto something.
Yikes.
Arya.
I think Arya is just
Arya
throwing
takes a
ass over
flight.
tea kettle into the snow.
You are really dragged. Like there's a trail following you as this sudden storm pulls you absolutely aback. And he looks around and he says, "Prefect! We're losing the mage!"
We cannot lose her. I'm going to start taking after her.
He's gonna grab you to keep you from it. He says, "No, you cannot!"
If we lose her, this is for nothing. Follow me.
He says, "Do you want her safe?"
Yes.
Then you hear the quick drawing of a blade, and you feel yourself rooted in place as the sword stabs through your coat and into the ground, and he gallops past you into the gale. Arya, he slides around and very nimbly catches you, although he has to brace the ground as you're held against him. The winds beat against his big, wide frame, this big wind wall of a man.
I'm gonna grab onto him. Do you want athletics? Do you want physique?
That's all right for the moment.
Okay.
He basically did it for you.
Okay.
But as he tries to stabilize himself, he says, "Mage, have you any spells?"
No.
Jeez. I'm not really a mage.
I'm
I've been lying the whole
prefect.
time.
It's either sleight of hand or pure luck. I don't know how it keeps happening.
Honestly, they've never asked. Man, let's see. Fuck.
Yeah, think an ice pillar to hold on to?
She makes one and it smashes clean into the it's being picked up by the wind.
Yeah.
Murders moats.
Well, I can try to fight wind with wind, but that's not really a thing that spell can do.
That old expression.
I would give you shit for it. Let me just ideate with you as your friend. If it was around you guys, kind of like the Earth Shatter, where it would just kind of fuck you up, probably. But I think you could get creative, and if you put it out in front of you and there's just this cyclone a distance away, that could, like, create you a wind funnel.
I was literally either thinking of using Speedburner or Tornado Hold to do it.
Yeah.
Either, like, the hot air, because I imagine, like, the flames wouldn't be able to persist. I've asserted before that they're magic flames, but I think it's kind of dumb.
I think there's
like,
some rules for that, yeah.
Yeah. So I'm trying to think like what is more interesting narratively, like hot air trying to dispel, or just kind of.
It's called Tornado Hold. Like that's almost built for this situation.
Yeah, I'll just do that. So she'll brace one hand into the fur of this wolf, probably grabbing a little too hard because she needs to hold on, and with her free hand she'll cast out. And she always seems to react physically to her spells ahead of time. So for this one, just her hair starts blowing around. You kind of probably can't tell in this wind, but
your hair is blowing around.
Naturally against it. And because I've done a big description already, that means it's not going to be a strong roll. 3.
Not as it could be. It definitely helps him out. It's kind of just fighting against the wind. It almost can only be beneficial. He roots himself somewhat, and he says, "Good. We have to crawl back to the prefect now." And he's going to start trying to crawl along the side, holding you like you're in a little baby carriage.
I want to reach up for the hilt of the sword, or the hilt of the sword during all of this.
Okay.
Oh,
Does
God.
anything beyond... I'm just trying to like steady myself
Yeah.
against it, but does anything happen as he does so?
Roll a will.
Ooh. You got a magic weapon.
And then I pull my hands away and their paws.
Happens to all of us. You feel like you hear the
Quiet and
faintest whispers, but it's also very windy, which has been known to be confused for that.
Okay.
You don't get much time to. He appears back out of the fog, just reaching forth to try to prefect. Prefect.
Do you have her?
Yeah.
You seem unsure.
No. Very sure.
He's just holding her robe. She tumbled down the cliff. I definitely have.
Shirtless and fucking hitting rocks on her way down.
She was dead after the first one, but her body's still tumbling.
Oh.
This is bad.
I got her.
Yeah. He wraps
Yeah, I'm here.
around the both of you and holds down. At which point, Arya, you look over and you can see two bright, crackling eyes in the midst of the storm.
Oh, Jesus. Alright. How close are we to the spire?
Say close-ish.
It's a ways out.
Alright. Let's just say, well, prefect. I think we found your behemoth.
Oh, jeez.
The storm finally clears away somewhat. It blows away in a cone, and standing there is the most massive, even bigger than this scale. Let's see if I size it up again. It dwarfs this.
Yeah.
Oh my lord.
An enormous wolf on all fours. It's not like a dire wolf like Falx. It looks down upon you with the curiosity of any regular wolf you know. And though the wind continues to blow around it, it's now like you're at the eye of the storm. And so when you look out to the distance, you see gray clouds and lightning strikes amongst them. But above you stands Ventos, the storm wolf.
Sure.
Which I could have just said by Falx, because he looks up and says, "It's the storm wolf."
I want to roll contacts to see if I either know or know of people that have come to contact with the behemoth, and if there's like a specific way that you're meant to yield to them.
Okay. Woo.
Pretty good.
It's kind of funny. It's quite intimidating here, but the things people would tell you is that the Stormwolf is kind of almost a jovial sort. The clan is like the tribe that goes with it. It's like they're constantly on a cross-country run. It almost seems as if the wolf exists to have fun and bring storms, because it leaps across the countryside, and its followers, gaining benefits from its primordial magic, are naturally enhanced to be able to keep up even as regular humans. You know that you kind of exit the tribe based on your health and elderliness, which are often closely affiliated, or perhaps if you seek to bring child into the world and want to avoid the danger. Anything that inhibits you from being able to just parkour around mountains with this thing tends to be what drives you out. And so the way you meet it is kind of with energy. There's not an overly respectful ritual with it. And even now, I think knowing that you can kind of see in it this almost... I mean, you all know what a happy dog to meet you looks like. Its body language seems to indicate not an exact parallel. Kane's cursed. But it doesn't appear to be like hostile. You can see curiosity in it, really.
What's it doing?
Moats, it's like you're standing directly in front of a sunset.
I can't see it. What's it doing?
I want to step forward, and as silly as this sounds, Beta Frost Tower in the air, twirl it around, and throw it as far as Arya can. You can let me know what I need to roll for that. If that's just a lore, if it's a lore in athletics.
Just do a lore.
Okay. Alright.
Wow. So you conjure quite a good one and throw it away. And its head immediately snaps up and just goes bounding over you, kicking like a wave of snow onto you. Falx kind of has to shield you again. It's completely irreverent of your place in this. It just disappears, and it covers hundreds of meters in seconds, and in the distance you just hear a as it obliterates the thing.
You solved my riddle.
Arya just not able to help herself. She will just basically fall over laughing at that. Like
What's happening?
It'll start small, and then she's just completely body shaken and falls over.
And then it comes back and stomps you to death.
Don't ever me!
Out of the fog walks this fellow, hair blown about. He doesn't appear to be as heavily dressed for snow as you guys, although he does have a fair amount of winter wear, and he's accompanied by a young woman. And he says, so this is what we were after.
She, I think based on the contacts roll, you can correct me if I'm wrong, but I could probably suss out that this is somebody that's traveling with Ventos.
Yeah, you had a really good contacts, and I don't remember every single little term I have. So, okay. This is Dura, the Breath of Terror.
Oh, I know him.
You know
Or
of him.
know of them. Okay.
You got a name. This is the Avatar.
So,
Oh shit! Really?
yeah, she'll say, you must be Dura.
Breath of Terra. And he'll extend a hand very chummily.
She'll take it, wiping her eyes as she stands, and she'll say, sorry, I didn't think that would work.
He'll help you to stand. He'll do the thing where his hand's coming around and it's kind of like a handshake, but he braces you on the forearm and just hoists you to your feet. It's a very, very practiced motion for him.
Yeah, she'll go up very quickly and then land on the balls of her feet. Probably not so gracefully since he's stronger than she is. And she'll say, I mean no harm. We mean no harm, I promise. I heard they were playful.
Oh, I sure hope you don't get your asses kicked out here. In the distance, you hear as the storm wolf comes hopping back up, and it grinds to a halt, again kicking a mound of snow over Moats and Falx as it grinds to a halt before them.
Is the storm abated at this point, or are we still in the middle of it?
It's pretty windy. You're like in the middle of one, but it's like the eye of the storm.
Okay.
I love the idea of hearing fall. It's just both like scream as it's covered in snow each time.
He never accepts it.
Going to rise up and say, "We thought you were further east."
We were. Started. Over the last couple of days, big guy started taking off west. Was interested in something. It looks like you. Or, at least, for the moment he is.
What did we do to earn such attention? Say, turning my head to him. This big wolf.
He's capricious. He's all over the place. Sometimes he just sees a distant bolt of lightning and thinks it'd be fun to chase it. Sometimes it's off to the next mountain. I don't know. I just run with him. It is looking down on Falx and, like, turning its head back and forth the way a dog does when you go, "You want to go for a walk? Walk?" Falx is kind of, like, receded into himself. He's, like, frozen, but there's obviously no harm coming to him. It just keeps leaning down and sniffing.
Oh, that's fortunate. We were coming to look for you.
Oh, really? You looking to join up?
No, I just had some questions for you. If you could spare the moment. I know you should be running.
Yeah, not running unless he's running. And he'll nod over to Ventos, who starts doing the thing where dogs, like, hunch onto their front paws, like, play, get ready. Keeps doing that at Falx, who is not responding well. He just keeps putting his hand in front of his face, like, don't strike me.
Please.
I don't know what this is.
Oh, whatever the case, I'm grateful to see you. Oh, I forgot to introduce myself. I am Prefect Thane.
His expression meters somewhat. There's a very friendly, rugged smile before, and especially at Arya, but as you introduce yourself, there's a bit of a just smelled shit expression. And he just rests his hands on his hips and says, "Oh, that's so.
Yes.
Awful impressive for a prefect to be this far north. Alone."
Yes, well, it was necessity. It was a necessary move on our part.
Arya's gonna say, "Oh, he wouldn't last 2 minutes out here. It's Falx that got us this far," and she'll gesture for him to come over and join the group.
He will look over trepidatiously and then back at the Storm Wolf, who's like frozen over him. And as he starts to move, Ventos does the again, and he just and he scrambles up and starts running toward you guys, and Ventos stomps after him way too closely.
She says,
"Yes,
this is Falx. I'm Arya."
I am Falx, the Whitehound of the Dire Wolf tribe." And Ventos sniffs at his scruff and like absolutely bops him with his nose, his gigantic nose. "I am Falx. I guided the prefect north. We seek the spire." Well, surely you guys got to know you're close, and pretty sure that's forbidden territory.
Arya will say, "But that has to be exciting, right? Nobody's been in there in however long."
Nice.
Only a couple weeks.
Oh,
She'll say, "Oh, Edra Byrne, likely."
Edra Byrne. Can you describe her?
Ooh.
wow. Uh-oh.
Oh, can you get it? What are you looking for? What were you examining in particular?
I was seeing if he was, like, pretending, if this is all just faux, if he's playing.
You're gonna succeed. His roll is a 1.
No. Okay.
It was 0.
No. Okay.
Oh, well, I used my thing, so
It buffed him.
Oh, I see.
yeah. I guess I could have declared that more.
I need that
more
very well
really.
declared.
Yeah.
Okay. I'll let you save it. You gotta
sure?
stop me next time.
Okay. I don't feel good about that. Take it.
No, it's fine.
All right. You are the DM.
He seems genuine. He's like not remembering this person. There's something on his mind. He's like searching, but he genuinely appears a bit scatterbrained, a bit carefree.
It could have been a pseudonym that she greeted you under. And then I don't have a picture of her in my mind. I would describe whatever aspects.
She's light green.
Okay, yeah.
That is her signifier color.
A headstrong woman. And then I would describe her physically.
Light green.
I guess you can describe her physically, given you got to see her once.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah, that's the only reason. This is the only person I can do that with.
Trying it out for size.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, her name was Edra. That's right. Bernie.
Bernie.
Yeah, we talked to her a couple weeks back.
Oh, what about?
He'll turn and say, "Actually, the spire. Yeah, that's a pretty hot topic around here."
Oh. For more than just Edra and us?
Well, just Edra and you. Or just Bernie and you, but, hey, 2 people, that's about, what's the math? 200% more than before.
She'll say, "And did you help Bernie get in, or guide the way there?"
Help her get in. I don't know how she'd keep up. She ain't got the gift. He'll just pat himself and wind will swirl about him and this silent woman who stands staring like stone-faced at you.
I just know what her deal is. I want to try.
Okay.
Just a general feel.
Wow.
You get that she's just kind of weird.
She's just weird.
She doesn't know you and she's weird.
That's fine. It's a bunch of outsiders running around, following a wolf.
You can't see faintly the silhouettes of groups of people in the snow. They're like taking rests clearly. You can imagine this is the tribe.
When's the last time you saw her, Bernie?
Let's see. It was just a couple, as I keep saying, couple weeks back. I lose track of time out here. Sunrises, sunsets. Doesn't really influence whether we're running or staying.
You're lucky if you see it.
Yeah. But, had to be about area 2 weeks. Is my guess. Mika's better at keeping time than me.
One probably seems legit.
Seems legit.
Okay. Just nod and say, did Bernie have any friends that she was traveling with?
Yeah, 2 cold sods look like they were, hold the hell up.
Probably not used to the north.
Yeah, I reckon all you aren't.
No. Just kind of nods.
And once you spend enough time in it, it gets bracing. You get to dress a little lighter, keep it on the run, and it keeps your body temperature up. He's like stretching as he talks.
Arya's going to lean in and she's going to say, you mentioned the gift. What's that about?
Well, that's the breath of Terra. That's the, he's going to wave his hand around in a gust of wind. Just this column will come up. A really impressive display of magic that kind of dwarfs Tornado Hold.
Yeah, she will be appropriately impressed.
She goes, wow!
Or no, that's not the name of it. Let me say it. The Winter's Bite, of course.
Which one is it?
He takes 5 damage from Inquisitus.
5 Cyclops from Phoenix Wright scroll on screen.
So Burn and 2 others a few weeks ago.
Yeah, they came around asking about the spire. We took her and showed her. She was able to keep up at least that far. Almost fell behind a few times. Had to catch her friends up, which is no good by the big man. But, yeah, she made it.
And you didn't help her climb the wall?
I don't know how she would. Like I said, no gift.
She doesn't have the gift. He's just kind of says it as she's saying it.
Arya's going to say, but you do. She'll say, I don't suppose you could help us get in.
Yeah, couldn't help you, no. You'd, well, unless you want to stick around and learn the magic for a couple years. But you're not going to make that climb without us. It was hard enough to do it back then. He's going to jam his finger over. Yeah, we went in there a couple weeks back. She dared us. Somehow Ventos listened. Said,
She'll say,
you jump all over this continent. I bet you can't make it over those walls. And I said, bullshit. I was hoping she wouldn't press me on it.
But Vento's good. Go ahead. Yeah, go ahead.
Sorry. She'll say, Ventos wanted to. Then you could take us there.
Wait, what?
She'll say if Ventos fire, then they would take them.
He says, if nothing else is pressing the Stormhound, then if we start going that way, he should follow. But I gotta warn you, if he takes off on any interest, we gotta go.
She says, oh, no, let me be very clear here. And she'll look around and she'll say, I'm sorry to harass you with so many questions here. She'll say, we're very eager to get there, and I'm frankly a little overwhelmed. I've never seen a behemoth before. She'll say, but we do need to get there. And she'll say, I'm trying to make this not sound super shitty and manipulative. She'll say,
Taking a long time not to be shitty.
I see.
Gonna be you're a
Very
mean
shitty.
person?
I've been around Canary White a while. Oh, Canary! Oh man,
I hate that bitch.
you and me
She's
both.
not
bro.
here, right?
Just say, if it excites Ventos, if you're going that way, we'd love to travel with you.
He's gonna kind of lick his lips uncertainly. Says, "I've been in the same place a bit long, but you might just have the kibble you need to get that done." And he's gonna nod at Falx, who like is staring straight forward, gripping his sword deathly. Ventos is just hovering behind him, like inhaling and exhaling, and he slowly turns to like look out of the corner of his eye, but then turns forward again.
Oh,
Yeah.
God.
She's gonna look to the group and she's gonna say, I imagine you walk and talk, yeah?
No, you do nothing but walk.
She'll say,
Then please let me speak to Falx. And I go over to him.
Yes,
I
best
need
friend.
you to run. I need you to run
What?
towards the spire.
He looks over, then back to you and says, do you need me to carry you, Prefect?
No, I just need you to make it interesting for him. I point at the behemoth.
Looks trepidatiously up at Ventos and then back to you.
I wouldn't ask if I didn't have to.
He just swallows, turns in place, and dutifully, now that it's in order, starts to gallop forward, which Ventos, his giant head immediately snaps in that direction. He gets down a little, he haunches, and then takes off.
No.
And Dura says, "Oh, here we go!" And he's going to start jogging in a very practiced motion.
Arya will she'll grab Moza's arm and start running after them.
Yes, here we go.
Motes falls down an ice cavern.
We're on the road to Vermilion.
White road to Viridian City.
So as you guys are mid-stride, Dura looks over his shoulder. Wind is blowing past you, but like in the way where it's winter and it's not too cold out, and so it's just fun to run through these big juicy snowflakes. It's just carrying by on the wind. It's so much less bitter than when it was without this escort. You even feel a little bit faster by nature of some sort of headwind you're following, this jet stream coming off of this avatar.
It's the first time I've ever been happy.
And he says, so we're walking. What do you want to talk about?
Arya kind of not able to help herself. This is absolutely something that would have been on her bucket list, is fucking running specifically with this behemoth.
Running with the Stormwolf can be, among people like shamans, a bit of a cultural appeal.
I was gonna say, I feel like this is like one of those things for somebody that wants to do and to know everything. Like, this is kind of one of those, like, a rare, like, jokes aside, probably the first time Arya's been happy
Honestly.
on this fucking trip. Like, this is her shit.
I don't know enough about Julian. You fill this in, but it could Julius. It could ostensibly be something he bragged about doing, and the truth of which is spurious.
No.
Specious.
Oh, absolutely. And with him, too, like, there'd be no... It's like a 10 deceive roll on whether or not he actually did it. But I love that canonically. So, when she's able to calm herself, she'll just say, fuck, I'm going to feel really bad, because she's probably got questions that aren't necessarily related to this. And I know I don't need this to just be you fucking going back and forth with me. So we don't have to necessarily play this out. You probably ask him about, like, how he got chosen to be, how long he's been traveling, how he got the gift.
I'd be happy to play that out. Let me attend these other guys' business first, and that
There we
should
go.
round
Yeah.
out the session well before I hit our dramatic cliffhanger ending.
I'm gonna throw this out to. I don't know how you're doing, given how today went. I'm not like necessarily hugging a cutoff.
Oh yeah, I'm
How are
fine.
you feeling? Yeah. So, don't feel like you have to wrap it up in 13 minutes.
Okay. I won't be that strict about it, but I am. It almost emboldens me to try to find more, but I am reaching a roughly natural conclusion.
No
Nice.
worries.
I'll hide all these suckers. Put them elsewhere. Get back to these suckers.
I love how big she is. Sorry.
It's necessary.
It's very good.
She's always in the foreground. Next to each other, they're kind of like, who the fuck you talking to?
Don't ever talk to me or my daughter ever again.
Yeah. She's over there.
I feel like that is something like a director would do with like filming her scenes. Nobody's ever above her jawline.
Yeah.
Oh man, yeah.
Like one of those things you on like a rewatch you notice like nobody's ever higher than her in the shot.
So Canera, you guys ascend the wall, and Ostrich dutifully stayed put. He's never interested in any gossip. The Archbishop, Renauld, walks, and soldiers just fall to their knees in a wave astride her. And she eventually climbs to the wall of the verge and looks out toward the distance.
Kara will follow her until the Archbishop has come to a natural stop, and will look in the direction that she is looking.
And she turns to you and says, "The spire. This is where you are headed?"
Kara will say, "It is where the prefect is headed, yes."
"And this is imperative to your mission?"
That is correct.
"Then we will risk no more forgiven lives in this. You are Saint of Storms. You are anointed."
What? Excuse me. What does anointed mean?
Anointed?
No, not actually. Just what?
Okay.
Do I know the context of that in character?
She's building up saying, I gave you too long of a pause to respond when I was just trying to think of a new thing to say.
Oh, okay. All right.
It's my fault. She says, "By Exosa's will, spoken through me, passed on to you by Agorna, you will make this journey. I will permit it." And she will draw her hands up and then together in like a symbol of prayer, and then apart into two fists, which you see glow blindingly with the guided light. And she just turns in place and casts a hand out into the waste, and this beam of energy, more impossibly large than you've ever seen gathered by any amount of gathered forgiven, shoots in a directly straight line across the gelid wastes.
Kara's brows sort of, she can't help but animate a little bit as she watches the beam of light kind of part the cold.
And it leaves these like embers of energy in its wake and cuts all across the ground. You know, it dips and rises, and you can see the plain outline of the terrain in its wake. It blows this invisible hole clean through any storm, any snow, fog kicked up into the air. And you just see it extend into forever. It really magnifies your perception very well. And eventually you see it explode outward at the end of its journey, miles and miles and miles away. It explodes out like a mushroom cloud, and you can see a clear path cut straight from here to the spire. You can see it plain as day, its expansive tallness over the horizon.
I'm fucking Moses over here.
And she turns down to you and says, "That is my blessing, the gift I offer you for my granddaughter. You may pass now. You need risk no one else."
Kara taking a moment to take it all in, says, "That is the greatest gift you could have given me." Says, "I would wish to risk no more lives to make this journey." Says, "I humbly accept, and when I return from the north, I will take a pilgrimage to Plummet and rescue your granddaughter." Granddaughter!
Granddaughter! She nods once, firmly, in acknowledgement, and then casts her arm out to wheel her cape back around her, and just turns in place and departs, as suddenly
Good
as she
question.
came.
On my behalf, before I have Canara say anything, do we know how long the Archbishop has been in ruling position?
Yeah. Let me... She's one of the first things I wrote down. Should be easy to find her. Nope, didn't put that easily accessible, I guess. Anyway, something like over 200 years. She's been
Okay.
the head of the church.
And last time I talked to Euros, did they give me a general time frame on the other god?
I don't know.
I didn't think they
Was that-
did, but I want to make sure.
They just said before Exosa.
Okay. Canara will, she'll, like, speak up as the Archbishop goes. Is there, like, a good title
Just
to call her by?
Archbishop or
Just
Mother.
Archbishop. She'll say, Mother. And she'll sort of try to stop her briefly.
Mm-hmm. She turns in place with that. Her expression is kind of always what I drew.
She'll, kind of having to look at the Archbishop in her, grandness. She'll say, she won't really say anything. She'll just back down and she'll say, it should not take more than a week's time.
She'll nod again, almost accompanied by a thunderclap, and turn in place again. Or before she turns, you understand you'd better decide if you want to say anything to her again, because she won't turn a second time.
No. Canara chickens out and allows her to leave.
She exits.
Or Canara picks her battles and decides not to say anything today. Canara will kind of quickly sweep back down the stairs, and she'll maybe even stop. What was her name? The person who let me make the missive the first time.
Asdel.
She'll stop Asdel and she'll say, "I need to make another document."
Last will and testament.
I need to write Joey Fatone from NSYNC.
It's gonna be Dear Archbishop, things were a little awkward the way we left it last time. I just want to make sure we're cool.
Are we good?
She looks at you almost incredulously and says, "The last one you wrote summoned the Archbishop directly to my post, so I suppose I can do nothing to stop you."
Say, this will be quick. It is not a letter.
She's gonna start. Or do you need to go back to the place?
Basically, she's just writing the thing for Ostrich,
Okay.
giving her pardon so that he can move around easier.
She
So
takes
we
you
could
to
even
do
cut away
such.
on that.
Yeah.
If you don't have anything else.
Okay. Well, not back to the for the moment. I'll follow your journey.
All right.
Just cut to you handing Ostrich the thing.
Canara will step back down the stairs to where poor Ostrich's been waiting, and she will reveal the signed document, and she'll hand it over to him.
Ostrich has since bad to the guy's poker into something use later as like a hook. And he just has it on his belt, and he looks over. Ah, that was quick.
Say, the Archbishop is a woman of very few words, mostly action.
She seemed as much. And I'll take the missive. I'm obliged to your help.
Say, and yours. She'll say, understand that this comes with the, I don't want to say understanding again, the,
Implication? The agreement?
yeah, that works for me. The implication of my cooperation. And as well, you are representing my name. Keep that in mind.
I understand as much. I'll dispose of it once I'm done.
Do I have any idea how long that path is going to stay open?
As
Or
long
is
as
it
you
just for
need.
me? Alright.
Are you going to set out on it?
Yes. Pretty much immediately.
Okay.
So Canera will just kind of nod to Ostrich, and then she'll say, I wish you safe travels.
Where's it you're headed?
To the spire.
He'll nod at that. Then I'll join you all as well, shortly, after I finish my business.
Canera says, knowing you, I understand you will find a way.
He'll just nod that.
This is him.
Oh, that's so sweet.
My friend. Canera, not really knowing entirely what to do with this mildly awkward exchange, will simply give him sort of a salute, and then she will do her own hair toss and head back up the stairs.
Yeah, he'll walk out of the cell and go the other way.
All right. You guys head in opposite directions from each other, respective to the wall of the Verge.
I imagine it's pretty hastened. Canera would call people immediately as she headed up the stairs to tell them to gather her belongings and enough rations for her to travel.
They do. They gather around you. You're like Meryl Streep in The Devil Wears Prada, where people are just filtering around you and doing whatever you need, and you're walking along an assembly line of them just getting stuff to you, and eventually you're at the door to the exit. Kasner is there on a bit of he's walking on a cane, and he says, I thought we were about to go out, but I was just told by the beacon of righteousness to stand down from your mission.
Canera says, she has granted me a path. There will be no need to put any more lives in danger for this mission.
You really do gather miracles to you.
Canera says, boy. She's kind of surprised by that notion, but she says, keep your people in good spirits and allow them to rest. Says, I am very sorry for your loss.
He grips the cane and says, I don't suspect you'll be back in time. I think the news is going to be broken to her, Rolf, before you can make it, but if I see you on the way, I'll direct you to pay your respects.
Canera dips her head and she says, Thank you.
He'll lean his his free hand, without the cane, to grasp you by the forearm in the way brethren do. He seems to have acquired enough familiarity to confidently do that toward you.
Kara cuts off his arm.
It's yours.
Kanara will, she'll do it back to him the way she had done earlier, and she'll say, thank you for everything you've done. Because I don't imagine we will see each other again for quite some time.
Seems like you've got other business.
Kanara will say, yes.
He just nods once firmly.
Kanara at that, she'll kind of turn around as someone presumably like comes over and hands her sword spear in its typical kind of holding unit that she slings over her shoulder, and she'll say, farewell.
Fare you well, Saint. And the gate comes down with a heavy clang.
Yeah. She'll give him one last Exosa bless you. And then she will kind of head out into the snow.
As he looks after you, and it starts to close, he just mutters, "Can't help but think he has." And then he texts you that in a kind of flirty way.
Ugh.
Wink.
It's like, you got anyone in your life? Or...
Is there a Mrs. Kasner? And you're like, what? And it says that he read that message, but he doesn't reply to you. So Kanara, do you take it slow and steady, or do you take off?
No, Kanara will absolutely take off.
All right.
She's running on
give
all
me
fours.
an athletics and physique. Really put your all into it.
Not great.
Take one stress for your journey.
Also not great.
You don't want to do anything else for that, for running to the spire?
Oh, I didn't think I could.
I mean, you can essentially use a fate point at any time.
Yeah, I definitely want to tap a fate point for athletics on my my 3, and I also want to use a blink charge if that's applicable. I wanted to use it at first, but I didn't think it was.
For some reason, I feel like it'll give you a nice kickstart. Start the momentum right.
Yeah, like a runner kicking off the beginning of a race.
Yeah. So, are you just adding them?
Yeah, I'm gonna be. Well, athletics is so high, but
Tempting
I'm so
when it's a
scared.
4 skill, huh?
I'm so scared. How bad was that? Let's see.
That
That was pretty bad. That was a -2 overall. All right, I'm gonna re-roll 1 and then add 2 to it. Here, I'll just do all that outright. Great.
Oh my god, there we go. Fantastic.
Okay. Wow. What was that base roll? My God.
People just watch
Oh,
you
this is a +3. Okay.
from over the wall, and you take a few steps out and then like kneel down, and there's just a crackle, and then a fog of snow kicked up as you take off like fucking Speedy Gonzalez.
Like Sonic the Hedgehog.
Yeah, out in theaters now.
I gotta go.
Just chair scooting.
Are you just gonna run unbroken through the night? There are multiple nights
basically.
it'll take.
As much as I can. I mean, the path pretty much eliminates my fear of freezing to death. So, very determined to make up the time she knows she's lost. She would move as much as she could.
Okay, it's really hard to argue with a 9. Oh God. Roll me 2 more physiques for just how the journey goes.
Great.
Oh.
Wow.
Archbishop protects.
Guess so.
Yeah, I suppose I didn't even consider it being lowered necessarily, but really doesn't matter. Don't even have to think about it
Fucking
now.
Sugar mom over here.
You feel like you would have been ready for goddamn the storm before.
Honestly, this is just her feeling bad about the loophole. She's like, you are the saint of the storms, but I didn't really account for the fact that this is a cold storm and not a lightning storm, so sorry about that, kid.
Yeah, if they had a Saint of Cold Storms, they would have made one.
Mm.
You stand before the Snowden Old Walls.
Hey!
Oh, Kane just died in Minecraft.
Sorry, I should turn it down.
I imagine no matter how well you rolled, sweat beads your brow and freezes in places. Your hair is somewhat disheveled, and
Oh,
your
yeah.
legs, after finally coming to a stop, feel like tires that have been burnt red hot. I imagine you have to brace your knees finally, and while no one can see you, just almost dry heave catching your breath.
Hera, like, finally coming to that slow, gradual stop, her knees buckle, and she just lets herself fall forward and hit her knees. It's elegant, but definitely, like, heavy breaths as she sits there to recuperate.
As you look behind you, you can see that parted red sea of fog still holding it. It almost seems natural. There's no lingering like magical elements you can see, but it's got to be magical in nature, or else this is freakish. It took you a couple days, but frankly, really impressive for crossing a countryside. You beat out a horse. What a horse could have done. You held the stamina for it. I think you really, sitting below this spire, you feel the internalized power of the spires thus far have made you. As many Forgiven soldiers are already kind of superhuman, you are some kind of step above by now.
She'll just sort of remark it as, like, you know, some sweat drops off of her brow, and kind of take in the massive sight that is the wall and then the spire behind it as she reflects on all this.
We're gonna push the door open and see Canara at the front gate.
Come on in.
She'll be there.
Come on in. The
We're
water's
visibly bigger.
I didn't realize we grew each time with this.
Yeah, it's like Dark Souls. We get bigger.
Ah, you just get big with power.
Yeah.
What do you do first?
Canara will, after probably like a good amount of time having to recuperate, she'll force herself to her feet, and she will say to the no one, she'll say, shit, what was the name of the original god? I have it written down, but I don't have that file open.
It's told to you as Caesar.
Caesar. I don't know why I'd forget that. It's like Dave's favorite name.
Yeah.
It literally is.
She'll ask into the air. She'll say, how long ago? How long ago was Caesar?
There's no answer.
With the no answer, she'll just start moving toward the gate.
As you approach it, you look for the door and realize you're having kind of a hard time finding it.
Instinctually, Canara's looking for glyphus.
Well, currently you're at the gate, and the template you know so far is that they're probably embedded along walls a couple 100 meters east or west would be the directions here.
But can I climb the wall?
You look up at it and you reckon, no.
What if I try really hard and use my sword spear as a pick?
No.
Alright, well, I guess I go look for the runes.
Okay, you spend a few minutes wandering down. This area is miraculously clear of any squall from this blessing the Archbishop has put upon it. And eventually, you round a corner and realize you didn't spot one. You come to the end of it and look around like, wait, that's not how that was supposed to go.
Kanara kind of trying to recalculate because there doesn't seem to be any sort of imprint on the wall. Is there anything else? Can I roll notice to see if there's anything else in the area that would tip me off?
Yes, you can roll your investigative notice skills. Gosh, a 1.
Yeah, it's not fantastic. I mean, I can fate point it if that'll get me something helpful.
All you get right now is you look down the wall and kind of realize it's difficult to tell where the white stone of this wall begins and sheets and layers of ice end.
If I fate point it, would I get anything more?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, okay. I'm gonna tap. I guess just my 3 again.
Okay. You start searching really fervently.
Yeah, definitely eager to keep whatever lead I have.
You eventually settle in the middle where you generally have known them to be. They're equidistant middle down a line. Oh! Falx is here. They caught up.
No!
And you look where that is and realize what's in front of you is a just horrendously thick bunch of ice and frost. It must be buried.
What if I shoot lightning at it?
You can try.
I'll try. Kanara is a brilliant mastermind, and we're going to try to use lightning.
If only you had fire magic.
Yeah.
Or I could read.
Kanara will stand back, taking out her sword spear, and I want to attempt to... Is that just will?
I think you'd have to go through the rigmarole of using your ability. I don't think you can just cast that.
Alright. Well, then I will... Well, we've been using will with the redirect so far, but I need to check if I can power up, right? That's what we did with non...
Yeah.
Okay.
You get an average amount after your depleted stamina from the journey.
And then that's a will with a +2?
Yeah, you're the one who casts it in combat. It's basically like that.
Okay.
Whoa. What was that roll? Jeez.
Yeah, that was not good.
Ouch.
It's really making me burn my fate points today, huh?
Yeah. Are you going to?
Yeah. And that one's just going to be my high aspect, my first.
Alright, you start channeling lightning into it, and oddly for ice, it almost seems to barely chip into it. Like, you're making progress, but it's kind of like when you're lifting a big pile of rocks to, like, clear a cavern away, and you look up and see how many rocks there are and how much bigger they get, and it's like, oh god, do I even bother? And so you start to channel more into it, and it does dig deeper and start to shave away at it. They even turn into water momentarily underneath the intense heat. But once you pull away from that and the electricity dials back and the smoke clears, you can still see the progress you've made is like, this would be such an intense excavation effort. You could be here for days.
Boy. Excuse me. Well, Kanara will sort of adjust. There's absolutely no way I can try to climb it.
No.
Well, is there anything else I can roll to try to give me some sort of insight? Lore?
You could do lore.
I got one. Hold on.
Oh. Oh, God, are you going to shoot me?
What you gonna do? Shoot me?
As you stare up at this and search your brain desperately for the resources to an answer about how you could even begin to decode this, you think that you try to problem solve, and you find yourself thinking deeply on the old walls, and you kind of feel yourself getting into the mindset of Arya, and you think,
My least favorite person.
and that kind of spurs a thought. They are fervent note keepers, and it has been impossible to snuff them out completely. And you do know... Oh, God.
One of us.
If I were Arya,
If
what would I do?
Animate them swirling around you, I would.
And you do know that there are rumors that deep in Frice Peak, this molten tower where the academy was buried, if anyone was likely to have records, it would probably be the abandoned Grand Compendium of where the shamans kept all their knowledge.
Oh, bitch.
So if you needed to know what runes were here and what materials were necessary, the documentation, well, you ostensibly know where it is. If you can get there. And I'm going to have a kind of extended epilogue here. I'm going to save the drop for once I've gone through everybody. It's not going to be super long. So what do you want to do as you turn and face the south?
Oh, I think Kinera's just gonna sit down briefly at the steps to consider her next move.
Well, when Moats and Arya and Falx and the Stormwolf's tribe arrive at the spire, Old Walls, what will they find a day later? A day after you arrived.
They will find Kinera there, having set up camp in front of the steps.
Like she's selling merch.
Welcome!
And she'll be kind of waiting for them, probably standing at the top of the steps.
Then Arya, Moats, and your gang, what you come to find is Kinera standing there before you, arms akimbo, looking down upon you from the steps.
And Moats goes, "Fuck!
Yeah. What do you say to her?
Who's that? I can't see."
Oh, I know it's you.
What does anyone say to her?
I don't know if I say anything beyond just approaching, summoning a spell already.
Falx instinctively draws his blade, and Dura looks around and says, "Well, this is even more of a party than I thought it was going to be."
She left. That's cut off.
What? You wait too long.
Yeah.
No,
Honestly, just flames in Arya's palms running at Kinera.
Oh, that's the anime freeze frame of you.
Yeah. The fucking sketch filter in Photoshop.
All right, then.
I guess we kill Kinera next
Yeah, finally.
session.
Be done with it already.
It's the whole will they, won't they kill her thing. It's like, finally. God.
Finally,
Well,
God.
The question
you know.
with everyone in the party is, will they, won't they kill them?
At least we got one person we like. Falx.
Falx. Falx is the best.
He's good people.
He is.
I mean,
He
you know,
deserves everything.
quote unquote people.